Okay, we're set up. Hi, hello, welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor, the Daily Juice, here on Next Juice. I go live every single day on Periscope, aka Twitter, and I'm live right now on YouTube as well for the final Big Brother Season 22 recap. Final 3 episodes, 35, 36, and 37, which was the 2-hour season finale. I'm going to recap that all for you live right now, and I do lots of different types of content. So check me out, check out my replays, check out my playlist on YouTube, and follow and subscribe everywhere. I go live on Periscope. I also go live on Twitch every single day. Can you guys hear me? What microphone is this even using? Is it this? Oh my God, guys, wait. Can you hear me? Hello? You said, I don't know about every single day, so you can hear me, but like, what microphone am I even using right now? This microphone is the one I usually use. I swing it out of my way when I'm doing schoolwork and stuff, but it's not plugged in. So I'm actually very impressed that you can hear me at all. And I don't know what's going to happen when I plug this in with the wrong cord. Where's the correct cord? This mic stand's kind of new to me, and my wire doesn't reach. Wait, let me mute this in case it comes on with a vengeance. Let's see. Hello? Let's see. Can I change it while I'm live? Let's see. Audio. Oh my gosh. Oh! It's coming from the microphone of my webcam, it says. How's that? Oh, did the video just skip for a second? How is this? Hello? Hello? Does it sound different? Hi. Welcome. Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. Wait, I can't see. I'm too blind. Why do I not just wear these all the time? Oh, I got a smudge. It's okay. I can hear and I can see enough. I mean, Turtle, first comment to the broadcast. Hi, Junk. Shababa Hayden. Hi, Trash. I love you too. First comment on YouTube. Did you say ew? Did you say ew? Now it's like only your voice as opposed to what? You could probably hear like the heater in the background before. It does sound different. Is it better? Hi, Chris. How are you? Okay. Let's talk about episode 35, which is a really fun episode, I thought. Well, that was pleasant. I almost clicked it to put on the screen. Oh, that would have been bad. Okay. Hi, Steph. Oh, do you want to play Among Us after this? Hi, favorite Frankie. Hi, Rhodey. Hi, loves. I saw a guy the other day that looks just like Hayden. It was really weird. You didn't know I was a Big Brother fan? Yeah, I've been doing recaps for the three weekly episodes every week. I'm sorry, the 3 episodes every week. I've been doing a recap each week of them. So yeah, you're catching the final one, but I have a whole playlist of them on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. I'm thinking whatever. We'll talk about that on a more freeform stream. Why don't we get to the subject matter at hand? Episode 35. Remember, episode 34 is when Christmas was just eliminated by Cody, the sole vote in the house. Enzo was the head of household. And that means that Cody, Nicole, and Enzo can make up our final 3, which is very unfortunate for both Nicole and Enzo, in my opinion, considering that Cody is a beast and challenges and otherwise and will likely win. This is my perspective then. Obviously, we know who won now, but I'm like, I think that it was very smart for people to try to get Cody out. And when they didn't go for it, I was actually very shocked by that. But I get that they want whoever's going to take them to the end. And, both Enzo and Nicole thought Cody would take them to the end, and he did. But he can only choose one in the final 2, right? So, and the grand prize winner gets $500,000 and second prize is $50,000. So just like with Survivor, where they get $1 million or $100,000 for second place, it's 10% for second place. Hi, you. Hi, Mark. Is this a new mic? It's not, but it is a new mic stand. This is new. So I can get closer to my mouth. Ed's still here? Hi, Felicia. How are you? All right. So we start to see some clips. They kind of, as I expected, they were going to show a lot of replay clips, which I hate. A lot of shows do that like right before the end. They basically like look back on the season and it's like, yeah, I know I watched that already. Like I know I already knew that happened. So I don't particularly love when shows do that, but there was a lot of that on this episode. But there was a couple clips that we hadn't seen before that were definitely worth noting, I think. One is Nicole is in the kitchen with Christmas and Enzo, and they're making something or something. She kind of like wiped something up that I think looked like poop on a paper towel. And she said, "Oh my God, you should prank Cody and have this like hanging out of your pants. So it looks like you like have poop like on like a rag, like, you know, and it's like stuck to your pants or something." And she's laughing hysterically. Like she can barely communicate to him what she wants him to do because she's just laughing so hard. And he's like, "All right, I got it." And he plays it off really. He goes in the bathroom, he comes out, it's hanging out of his pants. But it's like so obvious that something's going on because she's laughing so hard. And Cody comes in and he's like, "Is she okay? Like, what's happening right now?" He doesn't even notice the paper towel. He kind of notices it. She loses it. She's laughing so hard that she literally pees her pants standing in the kitchen, just pees her pants. And Enzo and Cody and Christmas are all there like, what the actual heck is happening right now? Oh, really, Mark? Interesting. Mark says he doesn't like the new endings that Julie is doing on the show. Yeah, try something new, you know? See how it goes, see how people like it. I think it's always nice to say something nice, even if it's, you know, rehearsed or forced. So I think in a way, by trying to prank Cody, she pranked herself because she was the one peeing her pants by the end, you know? Hi, vegan. She ends with a quote. Yeah, some kind of like inspirational, motivational thing. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, vegan, for the super hearts. That's nice. Then we have the scaring compilation where we had already seen Danny bury herself in pillows and jump out and scare Cody, which is a great moment, I think, in this season. But there was a lot of other ones, like Nicole hides in like the cupboard and then someone goes to get a snack and she's like, "Rah!" I wonder how long she's sitting in that cupboard. Like, what the heck? How long do they sit there and wait to prank each other? And Cody scaring Memphis. He's like behind the door. Memphis walks in. He's like, "Rah!" And you just see Memphis like totally like that was my favorite new clip that we saw where Memphis just like he's like so like scared for a split second, and you just see that in his face, and then he goes right back to being all Memphisy, like, "Oh fuck," you know, like he's all like macho man. So that was pretty cool. I'm 30. How long is Big Brother? I think it's 3 months. It's usually the summer, but with COVID, they started it a little late, but they were able to make it happen. I don't understand why they had to like wear masks on their exit interviews, and then they didn't have to wear a mask at the finale when they all got to see each other and they were in the jury house. It was, I don't know. It's all like everything's very confusing to me about this whole pandemic, but that's a different subject entirely, isn't it? So I thought that was really funny. It was a fun episode to see all that. The final one that I noted was at the finale, they're eating surf and turf. So there's a nice steak and lobster tail, and they're all enjoying it. The final three, Enzo, Cody, and Nicole. And Enzo's eating it, and Cody looks at him and he goes, "Aren't you supposed to be a vegan?" And he was like, "Well, you know, yeah, I mean..." And they kind of show like throughout the season, Enzo basically became a vegan for Tyler and Danny so that he could get close to them and kind of have a connection with them, and just he'd learn what veganism was and just kind of like go with the flow and try something new. And I thought it was actually a pretty smart strategic move. I wish that he brought it up in his arguments at the end. He was very hyped up, like potentially even a bit manic. I would classify his behavior as from the second HOH competition on straight through to the finale. It seemed like he was just really in his head and really hyped up and really having a hard time verbalizing, you know. And that's for men when they're, especially with like lots of testosterone and really in like a competitive mode, like they're kind of in that mode. Like he was feeling very insecure and scared, and a lot of this emotion was kind of like making it hard for him. Men have a harder time verbalizing in general than women, and then to put on top of that feeling like you're about to lose, you know, it sucked to see him in that state for sure, because, you know, he's a pretty likable guy, and, you know, his motives were good to support his family, but his gameplay unfortunately wasn't as strong as it needed to be. Okay, is it the end soon? The finale was on Wednesday night, this past Wednesday, so 2 days ago. Okay. I'm good, Simon. How are you? So Steph said she thought the same thing. Yeah. Oh, I love that lipstick, by the way. I think actually, is that the lipstick you wore to my birthday party? Okay. Yeah, so the vegan stuff. I thought that was funny. And I didn't know about that. I didn't even know Enzo was like trying to be vegan around Tyler and Danny, so that's pretty cool. Then we go on to episode 36, where we realize, and I think they had kind of mentioned this, but until we're at final 3, I don't take note of everyone's Big Brother history. And Enzo, 10 years ago, placed 3rd on Big Brother. So now he's in final 3. And on Christmas's way out, she said to him, "Congratulations, Enzo. You got 3rd place." Which was a little heartbreaking that she said that, because it really was out of his control in terms of who won the veto. So congratulations, Christmas, you got 4th place because you didn't win the veto. That's why you're going home, not because of anything Enzo did, because even if Enzo put Cody up, he would have taken himself down, put Christmas up, and then voted her out. So, and then would Cody have taken Enzo to the final 2? I'm not so sure. It's hard to say if he put him on the block. I mean, it's a good game move, and I actually do think Cody would have still brought him with him and still would have won. So anyway, so Enzo has this kind of like, honestly, it seems like some level of maybe PTSD from that 3rd place win, or not win, you know, coming in 3rd place. It kind of haunts him, and you could see a lot of that being brought up to the surface now that he knows he's going to get 3rd place, and that what Christmas said really got in his head. And it was really it was hard to see that. I think I was having a hard time like watching his experience of all of that. Hi Kanan, how are you? Good to see you over on YouTube. Hi Jack, I'm good. I remember you. How are you? Okay, so Enzo said, now I don't know if he said this in his final speech, but he should have. The way he put it was like, I might as well have been on the committee. And that is so true, because no one ever targeted him. And even though he wasn't in the committee, he had the protection of the committee. So he didn't have to be loyal or faithful or break any bonds with any of those people. And they started taking each other out before they ever took him out. And actually nobody ever took him out besides the jury at the final 2. So that's pretty impressive. And I do think he had a better argument than he presented. But I think even the most eloquently spoken argument for Enzo would have still ended in a win for Cody, unfortunately, because Cody was very eloquent himself and just played a little bit better of a game. Enzo played a good game. This is an all-star season. A lot of them played a really good game. Unfortunately, it just wasn't as good as Cody's. So when you're sitting next to Cody in the end, you don't win. You know, the only hope that Enzo and Nicole had was to sit next to each other in the end. And I don't really think that Nicole would have brought Cody. I think Nicole is too smart to do that. If she would have brought Cody, I would say that makes her less impressive than I expected towards the end. In the beginning, she did really good. She made herself out to seem like no threat. Really kind of like, I'm just like a dumb blonde, kind of like played up that act, which she talked about. She created this character that she wanted to make seem like just very ditzy and dumb and like no threat, so that she could get to the end. And it got her there. Unfortunately, it didn't get her all the way. You know, again, she failed in that regard to win the final HOH against Cody. But she, like what she said about Cody potentially throwing that comp, and then her, like, so that she could bring him so he wouldn't have to cut Enzo, is like, there's no way Cody ever should have done that in a million years, is to throw the final HOH comp, which she said she knew was crazy. But it's also like, yeah, it's crazy, so let's not even entertain that idea. You know, it's obvious why he wouldn't do that. And she's won the $500,000 grand prize before, and Enzo has kids, and he really wanted it, you know, and Cody knew he was going to beat Enzo, and it would be harder for him to beat Nicole for sure, I think. So I think that, you know, there was no Nicole taking Cody or Cody taking Nicole from what I could tell. Yeah, see, Steph said she definitely wouldn't have brought Cody. She was so adamant that she was going to. I don't know about all that. I really don't think that she stood a chance. I don't think anyone stood a chance next to him from week 1, really, in a lot of ways. No, I've never heard of that before, Simon. Yep, vegan agrees as well. There's no way she would have brought Cody. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm glad other people agree with that, because I thought that was kind of like BS when she said that. Hi, Liam. How are you? Enzo Fosho. Hey, Erin. What's up? Yeah, everybody loves a little Enzo, right? You don't want to get Enzo, though. Okay. All right. Love you too, Simon. See you later. So yeah, everyone liked him, but is it enough against Cody? So Enzo had 4 wins, Cody had 7, and Nicole had 2 going into this episode. And then it's a 3-part HOH competition. The first part Nicole did win, which gave her 3 wins. So she had 3, Enzo had 4, and Cody had 7. So in terms of competitions, they all had some wins. It wasn't like anyone was like a total GOAT, but Cody obviously had, almost twice as many as the next person down. So Enzo is your favorite, Chris? Yeah. So we got a lot of Enzo support here. Ern likes Enzo. Chris likes Enzo. I like Enzo too, but did you vote for him for America's Favorite House Guest? All right. So and her 2 wins that she had gotten prior to that first like the final HOH win that she got were the same week. So that's considered sweeping the week, where you get the HOH and the veto competition in the same week. Interesting too, for history for Nicole, is she was the first woman in Big Brother history to beat a man on finale night. So that she already holds that record, and she's a winner. And then I think she really thought that she could then do it again and beat. And I think because in her season, people didn't really expect her to win against Paul was his name, I think. She kind of, I think in a way, she thought she could do it again against Cody. So she might have actually taken Cody. I think that, you know how they made that joke, like she's been in the Big Brother house more than anyone else in all of BB history. It does probably do something to your mental state, your mental health a little bit. Cody's like, we got to get you out of here. She's like peeing her pants in the kitchen. It's like a little bit much, like her even thinking like, oh, well, if he throws this competition, and it's like, oh my God, she's fully just immersed in the game. And it's like, she needs maybe a little break because it's objectively obvious that you should not bring Cody to the final 2. You should just bring Enzo and guarantee yourself the win. So, but I don't know. It seemed like she did a lot of visualization. Like she was so shocked that she wasn't going to be able to give her speech at the end, that she was just like muttering to herself the whole time. And like, she was just really in a state, and it seemed like a lot of them were in a state. Even Cody, even though he was pretty well composed at the end, his eyes, did you guys start to see that? Like towards the end of the season, he would be very like, his eyes were kind of like wide, and he was like super focused, like, and not necessarily the optimal state of focus. Like he seemed stressed, like he was not in his ideal state of functioning. So I thought that was interesting, the impact that this probably has on them. Interesting. Steph said she's not gonna lie, she's kind of mad about who won America's Favorite. Do you guys want to talk about that? I did vote Enzo, but I'm glad Devon won 25,000. I was glad Cody won. Absolutely. I don't know if you watch Survivor, Vegan, but she was overly disturbed. She was bragging big time. Yeah, she like in her mind, she already had won. So for her to not have won really shook her like identity and her sense of reality. I think in her mind, this was happening. So she couldn't perceive of a world in which that didn't happen. And she really was having a hard time. Like it was like such a shock, and she really had to kind of settle down. So it was really hard to see her like that. She was like really upset. It was hard to see all of them. So yeah, so Survivor, not season 2, no, season whatever, 31 or whatever it was, the winner, all winner, or 40. So yeah, Survivor season 40, 31. Where Tony won last season, same thing. It's like he deserved to win. I think Tony and Cody it was like a parallel between these 2 shows and these 2 most recent seasons. Like they were just beasts and they just deserved to win. They did really good plays. Now, I think they made a really good point here that I don't remember them. My first time watching Big Brother was last season, so I don't know a lot of its history. But last season, I don't remember this coming up. That came up a lot this season, which is that because Cody won the first HOH, it opened him up to a lot of power early on, which caused people to make hardcore alliances with him and include him in a lot of alliances because he was the power. And that gave him an advantage for the rest of the game. So even though they kind of try to play down comp wins, like it's not just about that, there's other things also, it seems like primarily comp wins are your key to victory in this game and probably a lot of others as well. It's rare that you have someone like Sandra on Survivor who's won with barely any comp wins, like is basically very weak at comps, but good like strategically and socially and can still win you have to have something. There has to have been some kind of like real scorn between the person who's a competitive beast. Like they have to also be an asshole or something. So if they're just like a normal person and really good with comps, it seems like they're it's just really, really tough to beat them, you know? Right. Look at the person who won the first comp. Well, that's like, so Cody said that like strategically he won that first HOH. He did not say that. I'm pretty sure I remember him when he won saying like, I'm not sure I really wanted this, but I'm just gonna like go with it now that I have it. Like he wasn't really necessarily trying to win like the first HOH strategically. I don't believe that that was actually something he intended to do. It kind of just happened. Like he wanted to win the comp. You know, it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I strategically am going to position myself in power early on so I get included in all these alliances. I really think it was like, I'm here to play. Let me try to like just do my best. And then he happened to win, you know, kind of like he's a soccer coach. Like he's athletic, you know, he's fit and he's young. You know, he's up against like, you know, Christmas, Memphis. And so, I mean, Memphis really impressed me with his comps this season just because, you know, he's kind of a bigger guy and he's older. And it's like, you know, he really held his own against Cody a lot of times. So I thought that was really impressive. Nicole really wasn't a favorite of anyone in the jury. Yeah, but against Enzo, I think she stood a pretty good chance. Especially because in order to get there, she really would have had to win the first and third HOH comps. I don't know. Do you guys think Enzo would have taken Cody? Because I don't. I assume Enzo would have taken Nicole, right? Hey, Carlos. He did throw the spy comp. Spy comp? Wait, what was that? You're done with it, Lee? Oh, okay. Well, I already muted you, unfortunately. So next time you'll just come in and not do it, and we'll give you a chance. You think Enzo would have taken Nicole? Same. Joe Schmo? No, I haven't seen that. I've heard of that though. I think the parody. He even said that to Nicole. They should get out Cody. It's really, yeah. I mean, that was either of their only chance. So, yeah. But it was still nice that I thought that Cody brought Enzo. I thought, and it was like, and even Cody was very respectful of him. Like he would say, you know, not to say anything bad about Enzo, but I did this and this and this, and he's like, you could just see his pain a little bit. Like he could see that Enzo was really struggling and everyone kind of knew like Cody's going to win. It was just super awkward. And Cody wanted to like it to be over, you know, and so did Enzo. And so did probably everybody. Like everyone just wants to get home to their families and let Cody have the money and like go on with their lives, you know? So I thought that was, you know, it showed that he's not just some arrogant. Like I really disliked Mickey last season and Big Brother. You know, yeah, he was a comp beast, but like Holly actually got votes just because people disliked Mickey that much. Cody didn't have that element. You know, even Kevin, who claimed he would never vote for Cody, he even voted for Cody because he said like you can't hate on that, you know, and like someone who just plays really well. It's hard to be like, oh no, you don't deserve it, you know, like I'm gonna vote for Enzo. So yeah. And Enzo didn't really help anyone. And then Enzo was like, oh, I used this guy. I used him, you know, and it's like, you didn't use him. No, he used you a couple times, but like you know, he was always like, oh, I'm here for you. I got you. Like Enzo was always like that with Cody. And Cody was like, yeah, me too. But it wasn't the same, you know, Cody was like the number one and Enzo was number two, it seemed to me. Damn it, Kevin. Well, and so yeah, so Cody swept. I'm getting ahead of myself or whatever. So Cody got a 9-0 victory. Every single person on the jury voted for him to win, including Nicole. But of course, because who's going to vote for Enzo over Cody? Like, it's just unfortunately not going to happen. So it was also a smart strategy for Nicole to surround herself with strong players. That's what she said she was going to do to keep the threat off of her as a winner. Because if the big targets start going out early on, you're left with like more of an underling like group that you're going to be targeted, you and Ian, for being winners. So by surrounding yourself with like Cody, who's the first HOH, and then Memphis, who's the next HOH, and you kind of like start building this group of people that are bigger threats than you, Tyler, potentially even Danny, who Danny did get targeted before Nicole, because I think Danny was just playing too hard of a game. And Danny was really, you could tell the effect it had on her mental state too, watching her in the jury house. She was really struggling too. It seemed like a lot of people were struggling. Yeah, he was too nervous and amped up. Yeah, and I think he knew the inevitability. Like even you could see like when they laughed, because Enzo was like super hyped up and he's walking around, he's just being like very like charismatic and just like everyone likes him and they kind of laugh because he's a funny guy, but he wasn't really trying to be funny and he felt like that threw him off. He's like, why are they laughing at me? Like, are they laughing at me because I'm just such an idiot? Because I'm just like so stupid. And it's like that's a lot of his own mind coming to him and thinking like, dude, you did it again. Like you did the same thing as last time. Like you went to the end with your ride or die dude and they outplayed you and you feel stupid, And it's like, you're not stupid. You played the hand that you were dealt. You're 42. Cody's, I don't know, at least 10 years younger than that, I would assume. And he's a fucking soccer coach. Like, what does Enzo do? I don't know, but he's not like an athlete, Like you're not going to outcompete an athlete. And because like I just pointed out about how competitions really give you this huge advantage, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? So Danny was not your favorite. No, I don't think Danny was anybody's favorite. I think I probably am most like Danny than anyone in the house. So I identify with her. I certainly don't judge her. I come across a similar way. Like we're not popular people, but we're good game players. But that only gets you so far in a game that's so social, Yeah, he was being really self-conscious. Yeah, which is good. It shows like self-awareness. Like he can see himself and he's like, like I don't want, like he was like, I'm done. That's it. Like he wanted to just be done with it. So the fact that he got the 50 grand, I think eased him a little bit, but like he didn't come for 50 grand, he came for $500,000. So Cody's still in his 20s. Okay, that's what I assumed. I don't know how old, but let's look it up. Oh, he's a little bit younger than me. He's almost 30. He'll be 30 in like a month and a half. December 13th. So yeah, he's like, 13 years younger. Hello, UJL. Hi, how are you? Okay. Where are we? So the zombie competition where they had to hold on to a rope and stand on this little black disc. Nicole actually won that competition against both Enzo and Cody, which was great. She needed that. That got her that third win because that's only one less win than Enzo now, which is why the two of them stood a better chance against each other because they had different strengths, Both of them were brought along by Cody, but I feel like Nicole less so. Like Nicole had her own kind of plan. And although Cody's plan did trump it, it's like Enzo to me never really seemed to have a plan. And he kind of even said that in his speech was like, I didn't care who went out. It's very much the Sandra strategy in terms of Survivor players. It's like, I don't care who goes out as long as it's not me, and that's kind of Enzo's strategy. And it's not the most respected strategy now in like modern day reality games like this, where back when Sandra got her first win in like season 4 of Survivor or whatever, like loyalty was really important, and I know, I'm mixing shows here, but it's similar, right? These things change. Like loyalty is not as important as strategy as it used to be. In the beginning, it's like, okay, loyalty is the most important thing. That's what the jury is going to vote for. It's like, no, not if you're dumb. Like if you're loyal to someone who's better than you, they're just going to win in the end. So you have to like cut them at some point. You have to show that you can do that, that you don't need them to get to the end. So if you need them to get to the end, then they're the superior player. Anyway. Nicole looked really good on finale night for sure. I agree with that. Okay, so then we get to the finale. The part 2 of the HOH competition, Enzo versus Cody, was called Camera Hogs. And that was crazy. I'm so glad Nicole didn't have to do that. You had to like go walk around on this balance beam, push these big swinging pig heads or hog heads out of the way, go pick so they would ask like the last 3 house guests to be evicted or something. And you'd go and you grab these cardboard cutouts of the correct answer, put them in these holes, and then you had to go push all the pig heads on a balance beam and then snap a picture of you with the house guests with no pigs in the picture at all. So not even a little corner of an ear, like everything has to be out of the picture. So it looked hard as hell. It was crazy. Enzo was like dripping sweat. And then he finds out for his final one, he read the question wrong. So it said, which 3 house guests were put up for eviction exactly 2 times? It was something like that. And the exactly 2 times, I think, messed with his head. Again, men don't always have like that strong a verbal ability. So the number 2 was in his head. So he's like, which 2 house guests? So he kept putting 2, and he was trying different combinations and stuff. And it ended up taking him 37 minutes to complete the competition, where Cody completed the competition in 5 minutes. So that was really embarrassing for him. It was really hard. You know, he knew that he messed up, and shit like that happens. Like, people make mistakes, you know, and it just like really frustrated him. But I think that it's important for us as humans to realize that like we cannot and will not be good at everything. There is no one who is good at everything. So you have strengths and you're good at a lot of stuff. You're just not good at that particular thing, you know, and it's okay to not be good at it, you know, or to make a mistake. So, Edward, I didn't miss your comment. I was just finishing my thought and now I see it. And thank you for saying that. I don't know what you mean about being our big brother, but so the concept of big brother is like the all-encompassing governmental watchdog, right? It's like someone who spies on you and like uses information about you to manipulate your life situation. So like being someone's big brother in terms of like George Orwell, the book 1984, which is where this concept of big brother comes from that inspires this game. You don't want to be big brother. I mean, maybe you do, so you can have all the power, but like the whole concept of like big brothers and big sisters of America is like a whole different meaning. Okay, so don't be my big brother in this context, right? Okay, so what I want to know is, what's a chooch? Should I even be saying that? Let's look that up. Urban Dictionary. And just like, yeah, let's go. Let's make me look like a chooch. Oh, yeah, it's an Italian word. The term is derived from the Italian word ciuccio and means jackass, dummy, idiot, or moron. A chooch is a person who, against better judgment, acts inappropriately. Okay. So he was like, yeah, I'm gonna look like a chooch. So it was sad. Not an overseer. Okay. Hi, Nelson. I'm good. Good to see you too. Yeah, it's good to see you. I've been doing good. How are you? 8 out of 9 correct answers for Nicole. She was devastated. Yeah. And that first question was about Ian. And she was like, she had to vote Ian. There's a lot of emotion connected with her and Ian. So she had a disadvantage in that regard. Again, the female brain. I did recently, if you guys didn't see it, I have it as my featured video on my YouTube channel. If you're a returning viewer, that's about brain sex and the difference between male and female brains. That's why I keep making these references to gender as I talk about this. You know, I'm not trying to like further stereotypes, but I'm also trying to like notice these underlying themes that are consistent across averages. I'm also reading a book right now, before you panic, called The End of Average, where we know that individuals are unique and they don't meet all the generalizations of anything. That's okay, right? In general, though, like, you're more likely to have women when they're tested, like, it doesn't matter what side of so if I show a woman, okay, let's say with Nicole, right? So if we were testing Nicole and Cody, did Cody have any emotional like interactions or relationships with anyone in the house? I mean, a little bit, I think, with Christmas and Kevin, where he seemed to have like a little bit of emotionality, and I would say more of like a positive emotionality towards Enzo, Danny, and Nicole. So maybe one of them. But when you present an image of this person that there's an emotional attachment to one side of the brain by covering up the eye that's attached to the other side of the brain, and you're only looking at an image, then for women, doesn't matter what eye we show it to, we're gonna understand the emotional context of the image. We're gonna attach some type of emotional something to it. And with men, they only will experience that on one side of the brain or the other. I believe it's if you show it to the left eye, they'll pick up on emotional cues. But on the right eye, which is the left side of the brain, they would not. They would be completely devoid of emotional understanding. And that just illustrates the more, what's the word I'm looking for here? compartmentalized nature of the male brain versus the female. So when she saw Ian, like she's already hyped up because it's finale night, right? She's worried about her hair looking all good. She's worried about beating Cody. She's worried about her speech. She's worried about the 500. She's worried about a lot of things. And that's another element of the female brain is it has a harder time filtering out extraneous information and just focusing on the most important thing. Men are better at doing that. Men are better at focusing because their brains are better shaped for just one thing at a time, where women are like receiving a lot of input at all times. They can't filter it out. It's just like virtually impossible for them, like biologically. So she has all this going on in her head. And then the first question is about Ian, who she said was the hardest thing she's ever had to do to vote him out. She was crying. She's so upset about it. She probably misses him so much. Like, and she feels so bad because she knows he's on the spectrum, and like she just doesn't want to be that person. And then she had to lie about it to Devon and Kevin for like weeks. I mean, that feels a little bit like an unfair bias against her being able to win. Just understanding the basic differences between a male brain and a female brain. The contest, so yeah, it was like a puzzle contest. It was questions. It's stuff that she all knows. But because that first question was about Ian, I think it really like that's why she got it wrong. Like even if there had been other questions first and then Ian, or they had just filtered Ian out, because obviously it's like a trigger for her and not for Cody. So it's not fair. It's not like a trigger for both of them. And he doesn't necessarily have anyone that would trigger that. Does that mean he's a superior player? I mean, it means he's a man more so than a woman, right? He's stereotypically more masculine. Does that make him a better player? I sure hope not. I sure hope that these games aren't like biased towards male winners, although it seems that in many cases they are. So I think it's important for the people that design these challenges to really factor in as many things as they can so that they can make it as fair as possible. You know, you want Nicole and Cody to have a fair chance in the competition. You don't want Nicole to have an obvious unfair advantage on the first question. So, sorry. 12 to 13 minutes. Yeah, 5. Yeah, exactly. Cody was focused on his girlfriend outside the house. They did show the families. Yeah, that definitely broke him down. She's so beautiful. That was so nice seeing all the families. But that was a while before. Men don't always, you know, they might use that as like a motivator. Like, I'm doing this for them, you know, like what they might think. But even still, like he's mostly like, even if you looked at the way Cody assessed the camera hog challenge, I thought that was interesting. He was very like, he was looking around, he was taking in as much information as he could, and he was there. Like, he was present in that moment. He wasn't distracted by like as much as other people would be. Even Enzo seemed more distracted, you know. He was kind of like, okay, what's all this, you know, but that's more Enzo's energy also. So Cody definitely has like optimal levels of testosterone, which lead to high levels of confidence and low levels of stress. So you can kind of, you know, assess a situation and be focused. All these things, testosterone is better for that, which is why it's important for women to exercise as well, so they can be better focused and better filter out the distracting information. Cody's talents seem wasted as a 30-year-old soccer coach. Interesting. How about Ian discovering he was on the spectrum after his previous season? Yes, thank you. I should have wrote that down. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I didn't remember that when they talked about it the first time, when they showed that conversation about him being on the spectrum. I don't remember that part where he said that he actually didn't know he was on the spectrum until after he was on Big Brother. And some people basically like made some observations and thought, hey, maybe he's on the spectrum. Is he on the spectrum? And he was kind of like, what? And then they did testing and found out he indeed was on the spectrum. And that's something, these shows, I know like so many people are like, oh yeah, you're doing a reality show recap or something. It's like, but that's why reality shows to me, I'm not doing a recap about like The Simpsons or something. Even that probably has some element of like intellectual conversation that we could have and debate different subjects and topics that are culturally pop culture relevance. But with these shows, what I like so much about it is just seeing like these individual people and how they interact with each other. And he said he looked himself up. Yeah. And just like how these games, they're games, right? But they can change people's lives. Ethan, who was the, I believe, third winner of Survivor, was diagnosed with cancer. I believe beat it. I forget exactly the series of events. It's been a while since I looked him up. But then he got cancer again, and Survivor's Cancer Research Foundation that they established because Ethan and another previous winner, who actually, I don't know if it was a winner, but a previous player actually died of cancer. They created like a cancer research organization where they do like experimental research for curing cancer and treatments to help people with their cancer. Ethan received an experimental treatment from the Survivor Cancer Treatment Organization Foundation, and his cancer has been gone for years. And it's like, so not only did he win $1 million, okay, and he also was a soccer player, by the way. Bring it 360. He's like a professional soccer player. He won Survivor, won $1 million. Then basically Survivor like cured his cancer in some way, right? It caused his cancer to go into remission. He had access to a treatment that he would not have otherwise had. So it's just amazing how these things, like, they can seem trivial and like pop culture and like not as important as like genocide. Agreed, right? But individually, like, a lot of important things can happen with experiences like this that are so unique. It's why people watch it, because it's like they're like social experiments. Like, what will people do under these certain circumstances? It's the reason people watch Naked and Afraid and Survivor and Big Brother and The Amazing Race and all these types of shows where it's like you put people in these stressful situations, in these very odd situations, and you see how they react. So it's not just for like, I don't think, pure entertainment purpose. Hi, John. How are you? We're not partying yet. It's only 1 o'clock. We have a few more hours until it's 5 o'clock. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we talked about that enough, I think. Oh, and that makes 8 wins for Cody because of the final HOH win. Enzo made a good point to Nicole when he said, like, between her and him, it's like a coin flip on whether or not they would win the jury, but neither of them could beat Cody. Exactly, Blue Hundos, exactly. So Cody wins the final HOH competition with a perfect score of 9 out of 9 questions. Nicole only got that first one wrong, and he ends up picking Enzo to go with him to the final 2 and wins with a 9-0 sweep. And then America's favorite house guest is announced. It is Davon, with the runner-up of Tyler, which I was really surprised by, because Tyler is like someone that I okay, whatever. Like, he's a person, he's an individual, and I have to consider him in context. I get that. At the same time, like, I know that I would have a hard time getting along with this person, and like, you can kind of just tell, like, certain people, it's just, he's like one of my least favorite. And I'm just like, he's the second favorite. You know who I picked? Ian. That's my people. That's like what I feel like when I see people like Ian. I'm like, this is my crowd. So I guess other people don't feel that way. My boyfriend said he would have voted for Enzo, but he didn't. I voted for Ian like 30 or 40 times or something, 10 times a day for however many days we had, the max number of times. But Davon won. So I want to hear from Steph, if you're still in here. Why were you upset that Davon won America's favorite house guest? Oh, John, geez. That sounds awful. You really need to get drunk? All right, fine. You get a pass. You can start drinking now if you want, but don't drink too much, because I feel like it'll make it bleed. We'll make it bleed. And you might like bump it. You don't want to sound rude? Okay, you don't have to say why. I was just curious. Yeah, so Ed had mentioned that he's like friends with someone on Facebook who's like a CBS like casting director or something. She's like a producer or something at CBS, and she has like all tons of followers, hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, and she was like promoting Davon too, and a lot of people would basically be influenced by that. So Davon gave a very well articulated speech on her way out. Regardless of what you think about the content of the speech, it was really well worded, it was well delivered, it was well memorized. I mean, it was like she should be a public speaker. That should be what she does for a living. I don't know what she does for a living, but if it's not that, she should be doing that because she's really good at it. It was so good. So good. So I see why people, that stuck with people. Different people are influenced by different things. So some people kind of like pick up on nuance more than others. I think Davon did really well. I liked her. She didn't rub me the wrong way. You feel like people felt bad for her. Yeah, and I think that's fair, she made a bad judgment call. She believed Nicole over David, and we can all see why that would be because David had been lying quite believably prior to that and was known to be lying. So she assumed that he wasn't, and then she mixed up gameplay with friendship and, blamed Nicole for her bad decision, that she couldn't tell who was telling her the truth. And she chose to, in her mind, attack a black man as a black woman on TV and blame him. And, I think with Davon, the only criticism I could make that from the little bit that I saw on the show is lack of personal responsibility for her situation. She was blaming David for being after her and sabotaging her game the whole time. Then she realizes that he didn't lie to her and wasn't sabotaging her, and that actually Nicole, which I don't actually think that was Nicole's choice, that was Danny's choice. So Danny actually would be the object of your aggression, but it doesn't matter because you are responsible for what you chose to believe and who you chose to listen to and trust and how you chose to behave with the information that you had. We all make mistakes. It's okay, right? She tricked you. That sucks. You should be like embarrassed that you fell for it, not mad at her for pulling it off. That's kind of how I feel about it. Your vote went to Enzo too. Nice, S. I liked her so much, but I had other favorites. Yeah. So who was your favorite? Did you say? Who was everybody's favorite? Because I don't have anything else to say. That's it. We're done with Big Brother. This might be my last ever Big Brother recap because I don't watch the live feeds. I don't have the time to commit to doing that regularly and with, interesting enough content to then bring it to you guys. So I think that I'll still do my Survivor recaps, and I'm watching Amazing Race this season for the first time ever. So I might start doing recaps on that like next season. Survivor and Amazing Race have one episode, a week. It's much easier to kind of like keep up with. Big Brother has 3 episodes a week and 24/7 live feeds. It's an amazing game. I think it's an amazing show. It's really cool that they can put that all together and edit that and filter through all that information. But for me, it's like, in terms of live streaming, I'm not sure I'm really creating a ton of value for you guys when I do recaps on it because I don't have all that live feed up-to-date information. So I feel like with Survivor and Amazing Race, we're all exposed to the same level of information and we can all discuss what we've seen together. On Big Brother, like if I don't go live right at the right moment, people will come into my stream and spoil stuff for me. They'll tell me, like in the beginning they told me like Christmas won the safety suite or whoever it was, or was it Christmas won and then Enzo won and then chose Christmas and all this stuff, and I was like, oh my god, like I didn't want to know that before seeing it on the show. So I don't think I'll do Big Brother again. So this will actually probably be our last ever Big Brother stream. We can always talk about it, obviously, in like a random, when we're just doing like a chill talk stream. But I'll do Survivor and then maybe I'll do Amazing Race. Do you guys watch Amazing Race? Are you watching it this season? Who do you like? What'd you think about last night's episode? I don't know. I don't think it was last night. Last night was when we watched it. I think it was Wednesday night. Your favorite are Tyler and Enzo. Wow, Tyler. Okay. Yeah, Tyler to me is like, I don't know the right word for what it is about him that rubs me the wrong way. Does anyone feel that way about Tyler, or am I the only person who doesn't like Tyler? You're going to sign up for Big Brother next season? They're doing casting now, so send your casting video in now. What do you think your Big Brother game would be like? I don't know. What do you think yours would be like? I don't know. I'm not sure that I would be successful at a game like that because I don't think I'm likable enough, and I'm too direct and I'm too honest. So I would definitely be portrayed as like a villainous character, like probably like a Danny, and it would be like easy. I would be easily targeted and voted out because people wouldn't really like me. That's what I think would be my weakness. So to counteract that, I would basically have to like act counter to my own personality for 3 months. Like, I don't know that I could do that, but I would have to if I wanted to win. So It would be hard. It would be really hard. You liked Tyler? You wanted Cody to win, liked Nicole, but didn't want her to win again. I actually wanted Nicole to win again at the end. Also Enzo, yeah. Yeah, that would be my guess is that I would be like Danny. I would be like, oh, wanting to be strategic all the time and just being like really just too much, and people would be like, no, you're a threat. I'd love to see myself as like a Nicole, like the from last season, the one that was on this season, but only briefly. I like her. You know, I kind of like want to identify with her in some ways, but I think she's sweeter than I am, and that I would come across more abrasively and have a harder time with big personalities and not just being like, you're a lot. Can you not be so much? Nicole A. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love her too. She's sweet. She's a sweetie. Shiver me timbers. What's up? All right, guys, I'm going to end this, and I want to finish my Fortnite challenges, so I might do that first and then Among Us. But if there's like people that want to play Among Us right now on Twitch, just we'll go with the flow, okay? You would be the grandpa in the house. You're doing that too? Wait, doing what? Hello, Linux. Happy Halloween to you too. Hi, Danny. Haven't seen you in a bit. How have you been? Fortnite finishing a few challenges? What the heck? Wait, you play Fortnite? Wait, who am I talking to right now? Me. You play Fortnite? The heck? And you stream? You look so familiar. Why am I like, my memory is forsaking me right now? I'm sorry. There's a lot of similarities here, but used to be Hot Mom? Hot Mom. Oh my God, why is my brain left for a few years? Okay. Makes me feel a little better. I'm like, there's like inklings of like bells going off in my head, but I'm like, I don't like fully feel like I know you, you know? Dude, add me on Fortnite. I love playing with girls. My username is the same as on here, Next Juice. Same everywhere, and on Twitch, and then I play live on Twitch, and I play Among Us. Do you guys play Among Us yet? Should I go live on Periscope just being like, who plays Among Us, and get some people to play? Maybe I'll do that like tomorrow. I think I want to work on Fortnite challenges today. We'll see. We'll see. They would love your cooking. That's actually a good strategy. I was thinking about that. Was it with Survivor or Big Brother? One of these last seasons I watched, I was like, wow, cooking. I think, oh, that's what I had said. Thanks for mentioning that, Chris. I was like, I think that's what I would do. If I found out I was going to be on one of those shows, I think I would just immediately start trying to learn all the different like recipes and dishes that I could make and memorize and just try to be like helpful in the kitchen, because I think that would be like, people wouldn't want to vote you out if you're feeding them. It's true. That really, like, remember like back when Sandra won with Rupert, and he would like catch all the fish, and everybody was always like full of fish and like more than they could eat, and they didn't want to vote him out because he was feeding them, and they were like, we're gonna starve without him, like we need him. So that is very, and same thing with like Ozzy on Survivor, you know, they love that he would like feed them. So people like to be fed. I don't know that I could feed people from the wild. But in Big Brother, I could, you know, whip up some food. So good stuff. All right. Well, I'll see you guys over on Twitch. We'll play some Fortnite. Like Ozzy, exactly. Yeah. Bingo. All right. I love you guys. Follow me on Twitch. We're going to go over there now. Remember, you are worthy of being loved and feeling comfortable in your own skin. I hope to see you again soon. Please follow me here on Periscope, Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'll see you over on Twitch in just a bit. And you can check out all my social media links at my website, nextjuice.com. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Hey, Jason, I'm just signing off. I'll see you later. Hot mama. I love you guys. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. I hope to see you guys on the next juice. In like 5 minutes on Twitch. No, it won't be 5 minutes. I don't know. In a bit. Bye.